Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our collective salutations at the lotus feet of our most beloved Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai. Respected elders, brothers and sisters, and everyone joining us live, a loving Sai Ram, and welcome to the final evening of Gita Sara Sarita. 19 days back, as we undertook the study of the Bhagavad Gita, we embarked on a unique journey of self-discovery alongside Arjuna. We learned several concepts and deep truths on life and the methodology for dharmic living. We now enter the last leg of this journey as we complete the final chapter, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. In this chapter, Krishna begins by explaining the difference between Tyaga and Sannyasa. In continuation of the previous chapter, the various components and propellers of action are explained and classified as Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. Towards the end, Krishna not only summarizes the entire Gita, but also condenses all his teachings as he urges us to simply surrender to him and him alone. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhya jiman namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyante pratijane priyosime. Fix your mind upon me, be devoted to me, worship and offer your everything to me, and you shall surely reach me, for you are dear to me. This is Krishna's promise and assurance. Surely it cannot get simpler than this. Now that we have all listened, contemplated and understood the profound knowledge of the Gita, the onus of practicing this wisdom lies with us. We shall now chant verses from chapter 18, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Ashtadashodhyayaha Moksha Sannyasa Yogaha. Arjuna Uvacha Sannyasasya Mahabaho Tattvamichhami Veditum Tyagasya cha Hrishikesha Prithakkeshi Nishudana. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanang Karmananyasam Sannyasam Kavayo Viduhu Sarva Karma Phalatyagam Prahustyagam Vichakshanaha. Yajna Dana Tapah Karma Natyajyam Karyameva Tat Yajno Danan Tapaschaiva Pavanani Manishinam. Nahi Deha Bhrita Shakyam Tyaktum Karmanya Sheshataha Yastu Karma Phalatyagi Satyagītyabhidhīyate. Anishtamishtam mishrancha Trividham karmanah phalam Bhavatyatyāginām pretya Natu sannyasinām kvachit. Adhishthanam tatha karta Karanancha prithagvidham Vividhascha prithak cheshta Daivanchaivatra panchamam. Jnanam jneyam parignyata Trividha karma chodana Karanam karma karteti Trividha karma sangraha. Sarva bhuteshu ye naikam Bhavamavyayamikshate Avibhaktam अव्यक्तं विभक्तेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकम् नियतं सङ्गरहितम् अरागद्वेषतः कृतम् अफलप्रेप्सुना कर्म यत्तत् सात्विकमुच्यते मुक्तसङ्गो नहं वादी धृत्युत्साहसमन्वितः सिद्ध्यसिद्ध्योर्निर्विकारः कर्ता सात्विक उच्यते प्रवृत्तिञ्च निवृत्तिञ्च कार्याकार्ये भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षञ्च या वेत्ति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी धृत्या यया धारयते मनः प्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम् शमोदमस्तपः शौचं क्षान्तिरार्जवमेव च ज्ञानं विज्ञानमास्तिक्यं ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजम् शौर्यं तेजो धृतिर्दाक्ष्यं युद्धे चाप्यपलायनं दानमीश्वरभावश्च क्षात्रं कर्म स्वभावजम् कृषिगौरक्ष्यवाणिज्यं वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजम् परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजम् अहङ्कारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं परिग्रहं विमुच्य निर्ममः शान्तो ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते ब्रह्मभूतः प्रसन्नात्मा न शोचति न काङ्क्षति समः सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते पराम् ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैष्यसि सत्यन्ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोऽसि मे सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः श्रद्धावाननसूयश्च शृणुयादपि यो नरः सोऽपि मुक्तः शुभान् लोकान् प्राप्नुयात् पुण्यकर्मणाम् अर्जुन उवाच नष्टो मोहस्मृतिर्लब्धा त्वत्प्रसादान्मयाच्युता स्थितोऽस्मि गतसन्देहः करिष्ये वचनं तव। सञ्जय उवाच यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिः ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम। ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे मोक्षसंन्यासयोगो नाम अष्टादशोऽध्यायः। श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
In chapter 3, Bhagwan Krishna says, Yadyadacharati Shreshtaha Tattadeve Taro Janaha. The manner in which noble personalities conduct themselves, the common people follow the same. Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai has been our role model as he practices and lives selflessly for the welfare of all. Taking his example and walking in his footsteps, each one of us here try to do our bit every single day. This evening, we are delighted to share that all the security personnel of the ashram did their bit by donating blood at our hospital to extend their love to Sadguru on his 44th birthday. A big round of applause to all our security brothers who work tirelessly round the clock to keep us all safe and secure. May we now request our Chancellor, Shri B.N. Murthy sir, to address all of us.
On the sacred eve of the 44th birthday celebration of our dearest Sadguru, Sri Madhusudan Sai, on behalf of everyone gathered here and on behalf of those who are watching this live, I offer loving pranams at his lotus feet. Brothers and sisters, and very dear students, boys and girls, just now we have chanted important shlokas from the last chapter, 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. As was explained by Sadguru at the beginning of this Shibira, this camp on the learning of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is a very great teacher, a very good teacher. First is, he came down to the level of his student who was deluded and confused. For a jnani like Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the whole life is just a dream. It's as if Arjuna, like a child in the dream, was fear-struck, was deluded. Therefore, he wanted to run away from the battle. Krishna understood his plight. He did not stand at his high pedestal level of divinity. He came down to his level, understood what his problem was, and he taught the whole of Bhagavad Gita. As said by Sadguru, in the second chapter, Sri Krishna explained what he would be going to teach in the Bhagavad Gita. It contains the whole essence of the Bhagavad Gita, what he would teach. And finally, in the last chapter, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, he sums up the essence of the whole of Bhagavad Gita, which he has already taught. That is the glory of a great teacher. That is the glory of an inspiring teacher. At the most critical juncture in his life, for the first time on the battleground, Arjuna slipped into confusion and despair. It had never happened to him. He was a hero of many battles. He did not know what defeat was. But here he was. He wanted to run away from the battleground. He was in despair. He was in confusion. And he was diffident, looking at the great heroes on the other side. One, definitely because of attachment to grandfather, to the grandsire Bhishma Pitamaha, on whose lap he had grown up. And naturally, he was unnerved on seeing his Guru Dronacharya, who had taught him how to hold the bow and wield an arrow. So it was absolutely natural. In such a situation, what Krishna did throughout the Bhagavad Gita was, this problem was a physical problem, a problem of this world, a war, and he wanted to run away from the war. But the solution that Krishna gave was spiritual. Therefore, we need to understand that for every material problem, for every worldly problem, there is no worldly solution. There is only a spiritual solution. All your problems are solved only when you are established in the highest state of spirituality, that is your own divinity, that is my own divinity. No problems exist. As Sadguru was telling yesterday, so much of work, tremendous work is happening, and he's leading, he is spearheading this movement of gigantic service projects all over the world. But he said, all my work is effortless. There is no effort. Imagine, for writing an examination, how much a student would struggle. It is not effortless. But for building such wonderful institutions of service in education, healthcare, and providing nutrition to lakhs of children all over, he says it is very effortless. If you ask the question here, whether the boy Krishna lifted Govardhana hill with effort or without effort, was it effortless? Yes, it was effortless for him. For everybody, it is impossible task. But for Krishna, it was effortless because anyone who is established in the divine truth, everything is effortless. So therefore, all of us, especially our students, will have to understand, because the life is ahead of you. You are going to enter the battlefield of life. You should understand, for every physical problem, there is a metaphysical solution. There is no physical solution to a physical problem. Yes, down to earth, on the ground, you have to think what you have to do in the world. There is no doubt about it. It becomes effortless when you are established in the divinity. See, that is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. And finally, what happened to Arjuna? He asked many questions, but finally what happened? See, this is the best shloka, stanza, or sentences uttered by Arjuna in the whole of the Bhagavad Gita. Nashto mohaha smrutir labdha tat prasadat mayachyuta stitosmi gata sandehaha karishye vachanam tava. See, this is the attitude. This should be the attitude of every disciple. This should be the attitude of every devotee. This should be the attitude of every follower of a divine personality. He said, O Lord, by your grace, Tvat Prasadat, all my delusion is gone. I have got my memory back. Smritir Labdha. What was the memory? Is it spiritual or is it the art of warfare? It is spiritual. Art of warfare never left him. Though he left the bow and arrow, he threw away the bow and arrow, it never, but the art of warfare was there in his mind. But what had left him was wisdom, spiritual wisdom. I remembered my divine truth. Stitosmi gata sandehaha. I have no doubts left. Karishye vachanam tava. I will do whatever you tell me to do, he said. See, that means that from the clutches of desperation, confusion, diffidence, depression, Krishna lifted him up with his spiritual teaching by teaching him that everything is divine. And finally, he showed him the Vishwarupa also, the cosmic form, wherein he assured that all the heroes on the opposite side of the battleground, they are already killed. They are killed by me. Maye vete nihita purmameva. I have already killed them. You become nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. Just become instrument. So then, he became confident. He fought the battle and won the battle. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shri Vijayor Bhutihi, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama, the last sloka we chanted. So when Krishna is there with you, or when there is Krishna Bhakti in your heart, because Krishna cannot be physically with everybody, everywhere. Even Sadguru cannot be with us everywhere. We go to different places on our mission. But if we have Sadguru Bhakti in our heart, as good as having Sadguru by our side. So when Krishna is there, Arjuna with a bow, ready to put in his effort, definitely victory is granted. Similarly, what happened to Arjuna in his last moments, in the last battle he fought? See, that was another critical juncture that Arjuna had to face. All of us know that he lost the battle. Krishna had already left the world. He had dropped his mortal coil. And Arjuna was taking back on the command of Krishna the women from Dwarka to Hastinavati. Because Krishna himself had forecast in 7 days after he left the body, the whole of Dwarka city would be submerged in the ocean. And Arjuna arrived 3 days earlier. And as per the command, but by the time he came, Krishna had left the body. And it was such tragedy for Arjuna. All the Yadava heroes had killed themselves, fighting among themselves. All the children of Krishna were killed. All the grandchildren of Krishna were killed. And no young Yadava was left in Dwarka. Unfortunately, father and mother of Krishna were still there, old people, Vasudeva and Devaki. Everybody was in such misery. That was the time. And here I would like to tell you, there is a wonderful book in Kannada. Unfortunately, there is no translation in English yet. It is going to come out in English. Krishnavatarada Kone Galgigalu, written by one of the greatest scholars in Indian scriptures, K.S. Narayanacharya, late K.S. Narayanacharya. He describes this, what happens to Arjuna. All the time shedding tears, he walks into the abode of Krishna. And it is a burial ground. Nobody is to be seen. What had happened? 4 of the queens of Krishna, out of 8, had burnt themselves on the funeral pyre of Krishna, including Rukmini. Other 4 had gone away, taken to Vanaprastha. There was nobody in the palace, almost nobody. And he goes to the worship room of Krishna. Krishna had a worship room. There were no idols. There was no statues of any gods and goddesses. But there was a casket kept on the pedestal, a golden casket. He opens it, finds some soil. And then he's wondering, Krishna was worshipping this? A casket of dust was he worshipping? Then he hears the voice of Narada telling him, yes, this is what he worshipped every morning, every evening. This is the dust of the feet of his devotees, which he gathered from all over. That's what he was worshipping. That's what he was worshipping. And definitely his spirits are down. Finally, he leaves Dwarka because only one day is left before it would be submerged. All the women, children, old people, he was taking them back. And then what happened, we have read in Bhagavatam, we have read in Harivamsham also, but this K.S. Naranacharya, in this book, describes it in such a wonderful way that you would cry. On the way back, there are tribals called Dasyus who were ill-treated by the Yadavas because Yadavas had become completely, drunk. I mean, not only literally drunk with power, drunk with youth. They had committed many atrocities on the women who belonged to this tribal community. They were simmering with rage and revenge, and they wanted to take revenge. All of them attacked the thousands of women who were being taken to Dwarka, and Arjuna could not lift his Gandiva. Even with great effort, he lifted his Gandiva, and he forgot the mantras required to shoot those very invincible arrows like Ajnayastra, Varunastra. Even he had Brahmastra. He had the Pasupatastra, which was given to him by Lord Shiva himself. He forgot all of them. Then what happens? The women are being taken away by those tribal men, and there are no young people to support him, no young soldiers there. And then suddenly, he sees a vulture sitting on a rock, huge rock. And that vulture speaks. The vulture asks him, oh, you look like a great hero. What has happened to you? You're not able to lift up your bow. His ego is pricked because he is a hero of many battles. And therefore, his ego is pricked. He says, don't you know, I am the Pandava hero. I am the one who killed single-handedly 11 Akshohinis of soldiers on the Kaurava side in Kurukshetra, Mahabharata battle. This vulture tells him, oh, already this war is over. I was waiting for it. Why were you waiting for it? I was waiting because I had my last sumptuous meal when Rama-Ravana war took place in the Treta Yuga. I had my fill. Somebody told me that another great battle, Mahabharata war, would take place, and there I can again have a very sumptuous meal. And he says it is already over. Is it already over? Where did it take place? Kurukshetra. Oh, I was there. It was a street battle of brothers compared to Rama-Ravana battle. And again, Arjuna is pricked, his ego is pricked. Oh, you said you won the war. Yes, I won the war. But I heard that you wanted to run away from the battleground. It seems it was your charioteer Krishna who inspired you, encouraged you, and pulled you out of depression to fight the war. No, he was my charioteer. He was my brother-in-law. See, that is the ego. It seems it was Krishna who gave you the strategy to kill your Pitamaha Bhishma. No, I was the one who killed. It seems when you were struggling while fighting against Karna, it seems it was Krishna who inspired you to shoot him. No, I fought the battle. Then he says, do you forget? He said, you said on the battleground Nashto moha smritir labdha karishe vachanam tava. Did you say it or not? Yes, I said it. Then he asked, who are you? Then he quotes, Vulture quotes the 15th shloka of the 15th chapter. I am in the hearts of everyone. Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishto. Mattaha smrutihi jnanam apohanam cha. I am in the heart of everybody. Why did you forget the mantras? I am the source of all memory. I am the source of all knowledge. I am the source of forgetfulness also. When you remember me, you will remember everything. When you forget me, you will forget everything. And the vulture laughed and went away. This is the story. Why I am telling you this is, just because we have heard such wonderful summing up on each of the chapters, I would like to tell you. These lectures by Sadguru in the last 19 days, summing up each chapter, it is the very, very essence. I have heard many talks of many great scholars and spiritual leaders on Bhagavad Gita, but this summing up is very special because he has understood and he has come down to our level and given solutions to our day-to-day problems. But just because we have heard, don't be too sure you are going to win all the battles. What happened to Krishna? What happened to Arjuna? Once you forget Krishna, you lose the battle. Once you forget God, you will lose your life. Therefore, what is very important is, you may forget everything. You may forget your father, mother, everybody, your wife, your husband, nothing wrong. But when you forget God, you lose everything. See, that is the very essence. If you put into this practice the essence of Krishna's teachings in Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, give up your, your intellectual gymnastics about what is dharma, what is adharma. Just give it up. Just surrender to me. I assure you of victory. And that is what Sadguru is also assuring all of us. And we are very, very fortunate. We are here on the eve of the 44th birthday celebration. I was there on the 44th birthday celebration of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba also. I feel very blessed that I am here participating in the 44th birthday celebrations of Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. So also all of you. I conclude and pray to Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai for his discourse, for his light on the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you. Sairant.
Bhagavan said, సన్మార్గమును వీడి చరించే వారుల చేయిపట్టి కాపాడుటే దీక్ష నాకు. To me, my pledge is, my vow is to catch hold of those who stray away from the path of dharma by their hands and bring them back on the path of dharma. This assurance is far greater than the assurance of Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, not to compare, not to contrast, but simply, as they say, just saying. So don't worry, you are not going to suffer the fate of Arjuna. Murthy has totally confused all of you. Whether Bhagavan is there physically, not physically, whether you are remembering him or not able to remember him, whether you are following him, not able to follow him, he will always be there around to catch hold of you by your hands and bring you back to the path of righteousness every time you stray away. Just believe in this, believe in this. That's all I am expecting you to do. Just firmly believe in this. that we will be saved because our Master does not even calculate, count, and judge us by our ways. The pure love is beyond all these calculations and judgments. It simply knows when to go and protect even the worst of the sinners, those who have broken their promises and still strayed away from the path. Even they are protected, they are saved because love of Bhagavan is so supreme. So be rest assured, this ashvasana, this assurance, this promise, it remains with each one of us. Whether we are able to follow the path, we are able to have the devotion, we are able to have that surrender or not. Yes, because of that we would suffer some inconvenience definitely. But at the end of it, it's because of His love that He will definitely save us, provided we completely place our faith in Him. 10 years ago, some people came here, they settled down in Muddenahalli, and some people questioned their motives. They said, why are you going there? This is not the right thing to do. You are straying away from the righteous path. And many people questioned, doubted, and even said things which were very not in good taste. But I remember one answer that was given by one devotee who had come very early over here, when nothing of this was there. It was very early and nobody even knew what's going on. But somewhere deep down in their hearts, they felt that this is their calling. They came, and when people questioned them, because the person was very reputed and very well placed in certain organizations, and when he was asked, he said, I believe that my Bhagavan will never abandon me. He will never forsake me, and He will never allow me to go to a place where He does not want me to go. So if I am here, it is because Bhagavan has willed it so, and therefore, if I am wrong, He will still come and protect me. So you don't worry about my welfare. Bhagavan is looking after it. And time has proven that they were right. Time has proven they were right. They were none other than Indulal Shah and the family. Their answer was one line. You believe Bhagavan is around? Yes, He is around. You believe He knows that we have come here? Yes, definitely you must know that. Then I believe that He knows we are here, and He still not stopped us from coming here. It means it is His will. This is the way He is giving us protection. So please do not worry about our welfare. You mind your business. We are okay. So Bhagavan will never abandon us. This one assurance of Bhagavan is enough. Even if you stray away from the path of dharma, you are not a good student, you are not a good devotee, you are not a good member of the trust, you are not a good follower, does not matter. If you had ever offered your faith and love to Him, He has assured us that He will catch us by our hand. And I tell, I am even worse. I can catch you by your nose and ears and bring you back. I don't care if you suffer. So be assured, that you will never ever be destroyed. You will never come to ruin, even if you want to. Because His love is so much more powerful that it will protect us irrespective of what we do with it. But it does not mean that we can take things for granted. We have to be serious about what we've been asked of us. And we must offer that so that it makes His job easy. See, Krishna's job was so tough. 18 chapters of continuous questioning and answering, and every time repeating and re-repeating whatever He has said to ensure that it goes deep into Arjuna's head and Arjuna surrenders and does not resist at the end. How much effort is that? 18 chapters. Krishna has spoken whatever the number of verses. And I was counting all the discourses, all that which was recorded and written together, that would run into probably 25, 30 hours. And all these 19 days of discoursing is another 19 hours. All this has been done just to ensure that none of you deviate from this path. This is all that is expected of you. So Krishna's effort to put Arjuna on the right path was tremendous. And that's why I sympathize with Krishna a lot. But I also sympathize with Bhagavan because Krishna had only one Arjuna to put him on the right path, and imagine our plight. Every one of you has been brought onto this path from last 12 years or 11 years, going house to house, door to door, street to street, country to country, answering questions after questions, defending doubts after doubts, and convincing that this is your part, this is your way. Even if you don't believe, trust and come, and you will definitely find redemption. And so many of you have taken to this path, but each of those households were a witness to a Bhagavad Gita of modern times when the Krishna went on and on and on, months after months, to convince them to take the right path. And this is the collective effort of so many visits, so many houses to so many countries, that you are all here, sitting here this evening, so to say, celebrating an occasion. So if Krishna worked with one Arjuna, imagine the plight of Bhagavan, who has worked with hundreds and thousands of them. And I remember every single such conversation. How many doubts, how many questions, how many tests, how many fire test rituals like Sita, Agni Pariksha. Every one of them had to be passed. And even after passing, there was a test next time, in the next visit. And again, you have to go through the same ordeal. And this Bhagavad Gita repeated over and over and over again in people's houses, and, as I said, in different countries, in different streets, in different places. Yet, with patience, everybody was given the answer that they required to take to this path. Nobody was abandoned just because they were being difficult. That is love. And that love is the supreme yoga. And beyond that, there is nothing. This is the truth. This is the ultimate supreme divine truth, that nobody is left behind. That love has that patience to go over and over and tolerate all the things, just as a mother tolerates the kicks of the child in the womb, and yet gives the birth and never complains about it. That is the love of Bhagavan. So we can be rest assured that we will never be abandoned, we will never be left behind, even if we decided to, because he will come after us, catch us by our hands, and take us back onto the right path. So this is the assurance of Bhagavan, which is far, far superior than all the assurances of Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, provided we believe in it. We believe completely, and this is the personal experience of so many people, including me. Therefore, let us not worry about what happened after Mahabharata war, what happened to Arjuna later, why he lost his memory, why did he behave the way he did. Yes, it is a lesson that this can happen to anybody, and so we should be careful. But nevertheless, Bhagavad Gita is here to teach us about our dharma. That is what I say. This starts with Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre and ends with Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Take that mama from the last stanza verse and take dharma from the first verse, put it together, and becomes Mama Dharma. And then we have to ask ourselves, what is our dharma as the devotees, as the followers? That dharma, if we follow, everything will be taken care of. Even there, if you cannot follow fully, even then we are taken care of because of the supreme love that Bhagavan has for all of us. And that is the bigger assurance in our lives, and we should really congratulate ourselves that for whatever reason we have landed in this place under the divine umbrella of divine grace, with or without our wanting or without our intentions, we have somehow come here. It's because somewhere, some point of time, we have been assured that whenever you even try to deviate from this path, your hand will be taken and you will be brought onto this path and you will never be left behind. With this assurance, we are all here. So we have to remind ourselves that we are far more blessed. And I have seen the effort that went behind it. If Sri Krishna's Bhagavad Gita of 700 verses in effort, imagine millions of lines I would have spoken. I do not know how many millions of words I would have spoken in the last 12 years to convince every family, every person, every devotee, newcomer and the old. Old were more difficult than the new ones, who would never agree. If 9 out of 10 have been answered correctly, they will not believe that 9 have been answered correctly. One which has not been answered, that will stay in their minds that this can't be Bhagavan. This is all drama and this is all show. This is not true. It's how many Agni Parikshas I have personally gone through every time. Bhagavan has no Agni Pariksha. He is beyond. But it took so much of effort and time, and each one of us, like Arjuna of the yore, have been brought here to fight this dharma, not battle. Dharma yuddha, it is not dharma. This is our dharma. To do our dharma, we have been brought over here. So think like this and keep remembering that whatever happens, we must not lose this faith that we will be protected, provided we just surrender and stay surrendered, you see. So this love is far beyond. This story is far more sacred than the story of Mahabharata or Bhagavad Gita. And hopefully 100 years down the line, when people read about it, they will know or that what is the difference between this and that which happened in Dwapar Yuga. This is far more deeper, far more superior, far more sacred and divine. And this is my feeling. And with this, we are in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is the summary essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita. It all began with the delusion of Arjuna who said, I do not know what has happened to me. Karpanya dosho apavat swabhavaha. I am not a coward, but I was feeling like a coward right now. I don't know what happened. How did it happen to me? And therefore, I do not know how to go about it. Therefore, I pray to you. Yat shreyah syad nihitam bruhit. Tell me what is the right thing. Bruhitan me. You please tell me. Nishchitam. What is right, you tell me. Because I am not capable of making any decision anymore. I am lost in my thinking. And then he says, Shishyas teham shadimam tvam prapannam. I am surrendering at your feet. I am offering myself to you. You guide my thought. You guide my word. You guide my action. Till then, Bhagavan didn't speak a word. The whole first chapter, Arjuna kept on saying so many things. But Bhagavan, once he said, I am your Shishya, then Bhagavan started as a guru, and the whole Bhagavad Gita is nothing but guiding this Arjuna, holding him by hand and slowly taking him across the bridge, which he was unwilling to cross. And at the end, finally, he says, and Krishna asks, I have given, look at the teacher that Krishna is. He says, I have told everything that I had to tell you. Itite jnanam akyatam, guhyataram mama. It is the most secret and the sacred knowledge that I have given you, Arjuna. I have done my best. It almost sounds like that, as if Krishna is telling Arjuna, Arjuna, I have done my very best to help you take to the right path. And now, still I will not command you, I won't demand from you, I won't boss over you, I won't order you. I am just telling you, whatever you have learnt or whatever you have heard from me, the highest of the knowledge, please contemplate over it, please think about it, please think deeply about it. Vimbrishya asheshena, keep thinking deeply without leaving any doubt in your mind. Thoroughly think about all that I have said, and yatechasi tatha kuru, and do as you feel is right. Whatever is your wish, you do. I am not going to still tell you fight the battle. I have given you all that I could give you. I have told you all that I could tell you. I have helped you to understand every single aspect and cleared all your doubts. Beyond this, I cannot do anything. I have done my very best. Now it is up to you, Arjuna, to think over what I have said, understand it deeply, and do what you think is right. Fortunately, good sense prevailed. Arjuna had truly been a good disciple, and he had really heard the Bhagavad Gita thoroughly, and he had understood most of the concepts at least. And so at the end he said, Bhagavan, don't even tell these things to me, not necessary. I have understood, it is your grace. Tvat prasadat maya chuta. Without your grace, I wouldn't be able to make a decision in my life. I may have my own ideas and my own understanding, but before that, I would rather invoke your grace, and you decide for me how it happens, what should I do. And then he says, now Sitosmi gata sandeha, all my doubts have vanished. Now I'm sthita. Sthita means I'm established in that state of rest, peace, and calmness, where from I can think correctly, no more delusion. And therefore, what I am going to do, Karishye Vachanam Tava. Just to hear these three words, Karishye Vachanam Tava, the whole of Bhagavad Gita was spoken. All those 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita were only meant to get three words out of Arjuna's mouth. Karishye Vachanam Tava. I shall do. Whatever you are saying, I shall do. I shall follow. That's all he said at the end. I shall follow whatever you say. And even then, Bhagavan doesn't say, okay, now get up. Bhagavan only said, you do as you think is right. And he says, I will do as you have taught me. And you have taught me that I have to fight this battle nevertheless. It is not for my sake. It is not for the sake of the Pandavas or to avenge the insult to Draupadi or to, become equals with them. It is only because you have taught that as a Kshatriya, this is my dharma, mama dharma, to fight a battle which for righteous cause. And for that sake I shall fight Krishna, not for your sake, my sake, or anybody's sake. For that sake that this dharma which you have come to establish in this world gets established. And I should not be the wrong instrument. I should not be impediment and obstruction in your dharma stapana. And if you have chosen me as your instrument, nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin, let me be a good instrument and help you establish dharma in the world. Now see Bhagavad Gita in the context of what we are going through at this point in time. Bhagavan wants to establish dharma. What is dharma of every one of us? To be a good instrument at this point of time. To do the divine will, not interfere with the divine will. To be surrendered, able, noble, available and stable instruments. Available, able, noble and stable instruments of God is our dharma at this point in time. To make us available, It has taken several efforts to make us available also. Then the able part of it comes, then the noble part of comes, and then comes the stable part of it. So this is our duty. What is our duty from the point of view of Bhagavad Gita? To do our dharma, mama dharma. And what is mama dharma? To be a good instrument of the divine. That's all. Nothing else is required to be done. So our whole life should be dedicated to be a good instrument of God. That's all. I am in God's hand as his instrument. To understand that I am only God, it takes time. Theoretically may say, I am only God. But practically, every moment it is difficult to experience because our ahankara comes into picture, and then it disturbs our understanding, our peace. I am doing, that comes somehow or the other it comes in. So what should we do at that time? Simply say that, Bhagavan, yes, I am here, but I want to be your instrument. You use me as you please. I do not want to have a mind of my own. I do not want to have an understanding, ideas of my own. I'm just here to be available to you, so to be used by you as you feel like. This kind of surrender is the essence of all the things, all the scriptures actually, not just Bhagavad Gita, all the scriptures. While doing this, someday you will become one with that feeling that you and your master are not different. They are one and the same. But till then, you have to work towards being a good instrument. Now you have to go back and see what are the qualities that are needed for you to be a good instrument. Bhakti Yoga has qualities, 40 of them. Then again after that qualities are there. Akshara Purushottama Yoga has another 20 qualities. And throughout the Bhagavad Gita there are so many qualities, and the 18th chapter also tells about there are sattvic qualities that we must have in every thought, word and action. Yajna, Danas, Tapa, Kriya, all these activities that we have to perform. Yajna for whose sake? For the sake of generally the higher purposes, for our pitrus, for gods and things like that. Dana, for whose sake? For the sake of the betterment of the society. Tapa, for whose sake? For our own self-improvement. So for all these reasons we have to do our duties. Duties towards the divine, duty towards the society, and duty towards our own emancipation, towards our own atmas, uddhared atmanatmanam, for our own emancipation. And to do all these things we have to be good instruments. So pick up, the essence is this, that we have to be good instruments of God. Whether we'll realize God or not, yes, eventually you will realize. Bhagavan has told any number of times that if you do all these things, you live your life with sattvic bhava, you live your life in devotion to me, as Bhagavan said, no, manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru, mame vaishyasi. Ultimately you will reach me. Why? Manmana, your mind is filled with me. There is nothing else in your mind. Then madbhaktaha, your heart is filled with me because you are full of devotion. Madhyaji, your hands are filled with my work. You are doing everything as yajna to me. And namaskuru, you have no identification with this body as the doer or the enjoyer of everything that you are doing. Why? Because your mind is filled with me. Manmana, madbhakta, your heart is filled with me. Madhyaji, your hands are filled with my work. Where is the place for you to think about yourself? Because you are so busy always thinking, loving and working for me. Where is the question of you having time to do anything else in your life? And therefore you will never, no doubt you will reach me. Mamai Vaishyasi, Satyam te. This is the truth, Bhagavan says. You will definitely reach me, provided your mind is filled with me, your heart is filled with me, your hands are filled with my work. If you live like this, Mame Vaishyasi, Satyam te, Pratijane Priyosime. You are very dear to me, therefore I am letting you know this is the secret of becoming me. What is the secret? Fill your mind with Bhagavan. Fill your heart with Bhagavan. Fill your hands with Bhagavan's work. Now think if this is the secret formula to become one with Bhagavan, this place, this opportunity that all of us have, that makes us fill our minds with Bhagavan's thoughts, that makes us fill our hearts with devotion to Bhagavan, that makes us keep ourselves busy doing Bhagavan's work all the time. What else do we need to become one with Bhagavan? This is all that is needed. There is nothing else needs to be done. Just do this. This is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, I say. All the Bhagavad Gita 700 verses, you read and read this one verse. Manmana bhava madbhakta madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vashyasi satyam te Pratijani priyosi me. Know for sure you're dear to me and therefore you will reach me. Just do small help to me to help you reach me, which is to fill your mind with me, fill your heart with me, fill your hands with my work. Now all the activities that we do here, sometimes we think we are eating, dressing up and doing other things for our sake. No. Why do we dress up and show up at the office? To do whose work? Bhagwan's work, not for our satisfaction. Why do we eat and why do we rest? So that we are fresh and we are energetic to do what? To do Bhagwan's work, not our work. Anything that we do for ourselves also is in turn doing Bhagwan's work only. With that attitude, everybody lives over here. And in our hearts, we have love for each other, love for Bhagwan. Otherwise, why would we come and do things here? So we do it with love. You do serve in the hospitals, schools, colleges, Annapurna, whatever, even receiving guests or greeting each other every day, full of love, because he is Sama Sarva Bhuteshu, he is in all. And therefore, with that feeling, we love each other and serve each other. Our heart is taken care of. Our mind, naturally, all the time we are discussing. What are we discussing over here? We are discussing what is to be done next day, how we have to do it, who is going to be involved in it, what is your responsibility, what is our role. Everybody is busy thinking about doing Bhagwan's work. Everybody is here loving Bhagwan. Everybody is serving Bhagwan. What more do we need to do in our lives, you tell me? Bhagavad Gita's path is so practical and easy for you. And it is not even as tough and complicated like Arjuna, where he has to kill his people in order to serve Bhagwan. We don't have to kill anybody, we have to save everybody actually. We don't have to do anything negative. This is the best platform to achieve the highest realization, highest truth and become one with Bhagwan. And what more? If you are alone fighting this, whatever you are doing, there is a possibility that you will get demotivated, your inspiration will disappear after some time when you face a few obstacles, which will happen while doing good things also. Shreyam se bahu ignani. In Kali Yuga, if you want to do good things, you will have troubles. In Treta Yuga, if you want to do bad things, you had troubles. But Kali Yuga is the other way around. So here you want to do good things and there are obstructions and difficulties. But still we have to do. And imagine, Yatra Yogishwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara. If it was only Dhanurdhara, look at what happened, what our Murthy was telling, the end of the story. When there was only Dhanurdhara Arjuna, it didn't mean anything. He couldn't do anything. Because Yogishwara Krishna was not there with him. Whichever, in the physical presence or in his mind. He was not Manmana, Madbhakta, Madhyaji at that point in time. Therefore, Bhagwan's grace did not flow through him. At that point of time, he could not be that Dhanurdhara Arjuna who could win any battle. But here in Muddenahalli, I am there with you every day, telling you what to do, how to do, when to do, where to do, what should be your attitude. And if you go wrong, if you deviate, I'm also there to catch hold of you and correct you, either mildly or slightly wildly at times. Nevertheless, for your benefit only. You have Krishna, you have Arjuna. What more do we need? If Bhagavad Gita cannot be practiced in Muddenahalli, I can write and give you, it cannot be practiced anywhere in the world. This is the place where this Bhagavad Gita can be manifested in letter and spirit. Every single shloka finds its true meaning here, with you and me together. Not just with you, not just with me, with us, together in it. That is the beauty of understanding Bhagavad Gita from our institution's perspectives, from our organization's perspective. Because it is truly the manifestation of Bhagavad Gita over here. All of you have to go and contemplate on it. Contemplate on what is your role as an instrument in this whole grand scheme of things. Because if something is not happening, definitely we cannot blame Krishna, because Krishna is with us. We have to only ask ourselves, what is lacking in me that things are not happening? Supposed to be Shri Vijayo Bhuti. But if it's not happening, then what is that which is lacking from my side? Availability, ability, nobility, stability. What is less in me? Let me trace that out and correct that. That is how we have to live in this place, and there is no other reason we should be here. To bring each one of you, as I said, a lot of effort has been put, not only from this last few years, but from previous births also. And I have been a witness to all that. I've been a participant, witness, doer, enjoyer, whichever way you put it, of all the effort that have been put. I remember having come here, first I met Murthy. Luckily, he was not as difficult an Arjuna as so many more, which I met later. He was quite easy, because he was Manmana, Madbhakta, Madhyaji. He was practicing that. Sometime Namaskuru, But otherwise, mostly Manmana, Madbhakta, Madhyaji. Ma Namaskuru, at times Namaha becomes difficult for him. Then because he has got a huge memory, Chitta is very strong for him. So what happens, everything he compares with the previous memory or previous experience, and then judges and decides whether this will happen or not. But this is a different thing altogether. And what happens then? He was the first to take it, and he took it seriously. He took it upon himself that if I have to be instrumenting this particular mission, I am all available. I am here giving all my abilities to do this mission. And that's how it began. After that, so many came, so many left also, by the way. So many came because they had their own expectation and understanding. They also had huge chittas of the past. They always would compare and contrast. Oh, this can't be that way, this is not that way, this is not exactly. When did I say this is exactly that? This is different. It is like Hanuman comparing Sri Rama and Sri Krishna. Can you find any similarity between the two? Except their love and their dharmastapana, what is similar between Sri Rama and Krishna? Sri Rama is Ekapatni Vrata. Sri Krishna is 16,108 Patni Vrata. How do you even understand their personalities? It is not possible to compare them. Sri Rama was one Ek Banam. He will never use the second arrow. Sri Krishna used all tricks and tactics to win the war of Mahabharata. Arjuna could not have won Mahabharata war. He taught him how to win by teaching him all the tricks, all the things that were lacking on the other side, because of which Arjuna could win the war. Otherwise, it was not possible. So Sri Krishna is totally different from Sri Rama's personality. You can't compare and say, no, both are not same. That's the problem with Jambavan. That was the problem with Hanuman. We should not become one like that. You see, Jambavan had to do a Mallayuddha, means, what do you call this? Wrestling. A wrestling match for 18 days or something, 18 days, 18 nights, to finally agree that Sri Krishna is only Sri Rama. Why? Because Sri Rama had assured him that he will fight whatever this match with him at some point in time. And he knew, Jambavan knew that other than Lord Rama, nobody could defeat him. Only Lord Rama could defeat him. He knew that. So he tried it out with Sri Krishna, and when he got defeated, that's when he finally accepted that Sri Krishna is Lord Rama, but not before bruising Sri Krishna with his sharp nails and giving him that much of trouble and pain. Later he repented, I troubled you, I caused you pain in my ignorance to test you. But I'm sorry about it. Sri Krishna, being forgiving, ever loving, forgave Jambavan also. So also it was with Hanuman, who could not immediately take it because he had his own bhakti to a form and a name. But eventually, yes, he also participated in the war. He agreed. He told Krishna, I will be there in your dhwaja, in that flag. That's all he offered his services as. So this idea, do not compare and contrast. This is a different mission. It has its own understanding, and this is going at another pace and another way. But at the same time, I know the effort that has been put in, how many Bhagavad Gitas have been taught, in how many homes, in how many countries. I am a witness to it. And therefore, let us not become the Arjuna who is good while he is with Bhagavan and forgets everything when Bhagavan is not around. That is one lesson we can learn from Bhagavad Gita too. This can happen to us also. If the moment our Manmana, Madbhakta, Madhyaji does not happen, and our thought, word and deeds are not in alignment with Bhagavan, there is a possibility that we will deviate. The only saving grace is that Bhagavan has told that even if you deviate, then somehow I will find my way and catch hold of you by your hand. And even if you're unwilling and resisting, I'll somehow bring you onto this right path. That assurance is a great assurance. However, we should not take it for granted that we will do as we please, and at the end we will anyway saved by Bhagavan. Yes, we will be saved, but not before having given him a few scratches, cuts and bruises like Jambavan. We should not do that to Bhagavan, right? So from that point of view, being surrendered instruments is the perfect way of practicing Bhagavad Gita at all points in time. And this is the message of Bhagavad Gita that, or interpretation or understanding that we should have. All others will give you academic understanding of Bhagavad Gita, intellectual interpretations of Bhagavad Gita, word to word or sloka to sloka meanings of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, all those are right because they have to apply that in the context of their own lives, wherever they are living, in whatever situations they are. But for us, as devotees, as instruments in the divine hand, especially in this mission, Bhagavad Gita takes a whole new meaning. And for us, this is what is to be happening. Our minds should be filled with Bhagavan's thoughts, heart should be filled with love, hands should be filled with service. And with that, all the time we should be doing what an instrument is supposed to do. And with that, this assurance that you will definitely reach me. you will definitely reach me. This is something that we have to really hold on to and live every day in perfect accordance with this particular message of Bhagavad Gita. And no doubt, yatra yogeshwara krishno yatra partho dhanudra. It is given. Tatra shri vijayo bhuti. Dvaniti. Dvaniti means eternal law. Like Sanathana Dharma is eternal law, it never changes. This law also does not change. Dvaniti. The only reason why Arjuna suffered is because for some moment he forgot Krishna. And that's where all the trouble happened. In fact, I always tell boys that you check your own lives. The only times when you got into problem and did something wrong was when you forgot Bhagavan. You forgot God, that is the time when you deviated. If you remembered God at all times, there is no way you can deviate. It's not possible. So this is how you have to all the time remember Bhagavan and do his thing. At the end, Sri Krishna does say, fine, whatever you can achieve, whatever you cannot achieve, as long as you have done your very best. Sarva dharman parityajya. Sarva dharman does not mean giving up everything and just waiting for Bhagavan to save us. No. Sarva dharman parityajya means after having done everything in your might as an instrument, whatever was possible, whatever the outcome of it, forget about whether it turned out right, wrong, whether it turned out neutral or was favorable, unfavorable. Just surrender. Parityajya. Parityajya means not tatyajya means physically abandoning. Parityajya means mentally also abandoning that idea. Maam ekam sharanam vraja. Be surrendered to Bhagavan. What happens? Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. Sarva papebhyo. Even those which you have committed unknowingly. Knowingly once you can surrender and forget about. Unknowingly also we have done mistakes. Even that he will forgive us for. Provided we are able to surrender that way. So, Ma Shucha, somebody said, I was telling them, he told me a story that it seems a person could not read the whole of Bhagavad Gita. He did not know Sanskrit. So many of our Western devotees are there. They cannot read all the shlokas and understand as we do. Though they put great effort, they are learning too. Or children. But he said, read at least one chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Which chapter? Ekadhyayi Bhagavad Gita, it is said. 18th chapter is the sum and substance of Bhagavad Gita. So if you can't read all 18 chapters, just read the 18th chapter is what he was told. He said, but I am not capable of reading whole of 18th chapter also. What shall I read? So at least read one verse. Which verse? Sarva dharman parityajya maam ekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. He said, even that much I can't remember. What I am so dull with it. What should I do? He said, forget. Just remember one word. Ma shucha. Don't worry, Bhagavan is around. Don't worry, Bhagavan is there. Remember that one ma shucha, you will still be saved. But if you forget Bhagavan is there, then you will be only shucha. Means all the time you will be worrying and troubled by all kinds of ideas. So remembering Bhagavan, that's why let's fill our minds, hearts and hands with divinity, with divine thoughts, feelings and actions. And this place is the best place to practice that because every day we are only doing that. Filling our mind with thoughts of what can we do for everyone, filling our hearts with love for everyone, thinking all are divine, filling our hands with work that is to serve everyone. What more do we need? We will reach our destination. This is the perfect place to do that. And all of us are very fortunate. We have to thank our fortunes. And as I said, the greatest of all fortune is that we are not alone. We have Yogeshwara Krishna and we have to be Partho Dhanurdhara. That's all it is required. And each one of you is an Arjuna. Arjuni I call the girls. If you're not a boy, then you are an Arjuni. So you are Arjuna or Arjuni and this is possible. This is possible very much over here. If not here, where, I ask? If not now, when? If not by us, then by whom? If not this way, then in which way? This is the question I always ask. This is the place, time, situation, and the opportunity for all of us to practice Bhagavad Gita in its entirety, in the entire spirit of it. It is so easy to do that. Just stay steady, available, able, noble, stable. Be instruments like that. And please spare me the effort of repeating Bhagavad Gita again. This one session should have been enough for all of you to practice it for the rest of your life and lifetimes to come. Fortunately, we have a very good team of Sanatana Vani, and they have done a wonderful job of recording all the lectures, categorizing them, making them into nice, webcasts, as well as they have podcasts also. So you can even listen to these lectures. And they were telling me they have come up with one AI tool which will answer your questions. So I thought, thank you for sparing me. because that AI, you can type your question, it will answer. I hope it will give right answers. They said, no, it's all going to pick up from your discourses only. It's not going to give something of its own. Otherwise GPT can be notorious. So I said, use the AI, but use it correctly. At the end of it, it is artificial intelligence only. It is not artificial intelligence. So it only knows so much. But they have come up with some tool, and they are going to, I think, make it available from tomorrow, so that you have a doubt, you go to the website, type your query, and from all the discourses and the contents, it will immediately put up an answer. Hope it will help you to go through this again and again. They have done all this wonderful work. Last thing I want to say before we close this Gita Parayanam is that I remember 3 years ago, before COVID, in 2020, approximately 20, I think March, April time, that is when we had the lockdown, first lockdown, and we had to be inside. And I thought at that point of time, what can we do sitting together? We should not just waste our time idling, because we can't do any service. All construction had to stop, all projects had to stop, all people had to go home. Nothing was allowed. Nobody knew what was coming next. At that point of time, we started this Paravidya as the effort to learn about our scriptures. And we learned a lot of scriptures. In fact, our boys and girls have learned 8 Upanishads. They have learned Bhagavad Gita. They have learned Narada Bhakti Sutras and many other concepts of spirituality during that period. At that point of time, I remember, because I am not trained like many Gurujis of the traditional matas, who from childhood are trained in scriptures, Sanskritam, and how to deliver a lecture and how to perform various rituals. They're trained like that because their whole job is that, to only take care of the spiritual aspect of the organization. Whereas ours is different. We have a social service side also. In fact, now I say that we are a social service organization founded on spirituality. We are not a spiritual organization doing social service. There are organizations in this country which are totally spiritual organizations. Traditional matas are there. They only do that. They train the next generation only in the scriptural studies as it is to be done. They are not interested, or they are not involved in service activities. Then there are service organizations who do not have any spiritual foundations. Many of them are even atheists, because they believe that good is enough and we don't have to believe in God and talk about God. And then there are us here, who have to handle both. On one side, service activities also have to be looked after. On the side, spiritual studies have to be done too. But Paravidya sessions during the COVID, that was a great relief, because we could slow down the service activities and I could find more time to do spiritual thing. And I had to learn Sanskrit from the scratch. That's why you'll find a lot of mistakes in my shloka chanting also, because still I do not understand the entire Sanskrit as it is, the grammar of it. Still learning, still understanding, and I don't have time to sit down and learn like you in your classrooms, where you have no other work, but you can just sit in your classroom and learn whole day. I don't have the privilege, because I have to also manage the educational, all the hospitals and other projects, and also manage devotees and travels, in between read scriptures and teach you also. So this is a different thing altogether. So I was starting to read scriptures at that point in time. I remember I started with Kathopanishad. Somehow it was very nice. It was a story of Nachiketa, very intriguing, about death. And COVID time, everybody was thinking when we are going to kick the bucket. So everybody wanted to know about death. So I thought, why not I read Kathopanishad and try to teach Kathopanishad. As they say, when one teaches, two learn. So while teaching, I was learning too about Kathopanishad. Slowly, but steadily. But it came because Bhagavan's grace is there. With grace, anything is possible. So it started happening. At that point of time, I remember I had many visions. Suddenly I saw a lot of people coming, sages coming. And one particular vision, one night, I had of Ramana Maharshi. And this Sri Ramana Maharshi, we are not directly associated in very much way, but he's an Advaitin, he's a master. And wherever such good things happen, it attracts the right kind of people. So when I was reading and I was struggling through all these scriptures, at that point of time, Ramana Maharshi came. Because I was little feeling it's very difficult, and I'm not finding, because every day I have to spend minimum 4 hours reading and then 4 hours teaching. So it was like all 8 hours of the day and more, because you have to also prepare notes and think like that. So this was very difficult. So I was thinking that what should I do? At that time, Sri Ramana Maharshi appeared in my bedroom. And I remember him so clearly in flesh and like real, though it's a subtle body, but it is as good as, subtle bodies. It looks the same, it behaves the same way, talks the same way. And he said, it was a mental conversation where he said, I'm so pleased with the effort that you're putting. I'm so pleased. He was very happy. And he said, these are the seeds of spirituality. It will share this with others sow them, share them, and scatter them. He said, these are the three terminologies which I understood. Sow them, sow where? In Muddenahalli, in each of our hearts. Share, how? Through all these websites, through all the channels, so that it will spread to the whole world. And scatter them, even if somebody is not our devotee, not a subscriber, not a follower, even for them now this knowledge is available through all these media. So he used these words. Sow them, share them, scatter them. These are three words he told me and went. And that gave a lot of relief and assurance that what we are doing is on the right side. Then we had visions of Adi Shankaracharya, so also visions of many other Mahatmas, including Vivekananda. So that I knew that all these people want this to happen. This is all their life's mission was. This is what they want. That every person in the world should know their reality, their truth as God. And as they all have worked towards this, they have achieved what they had achieved in their times. And now in this time more has to be done. So this all is towards that one goal, to help every person on this earth know that they are divine and none other than divine, and then help them behave according to that truth that they are divine. Their thought, words and actions should be in accordance with this truth that they are divine. This is all the mission is. But we need more people to spread this message. If each one of you also practices and learns to preach this, imagine what a multiplier effect that would be. So many more people will learn and understand in different languages, in different ways. So continue doing this Bhagavad Gita sadhana. This is only the beginning. This is not the end of our Bhagavad Gita studies. We're just scratching the surface to just learn what is the content of Bhagavad Gita. But we have not practiced it fully. So even though you will go back to your campuses in a day or two, or then you will go back to your regular academics, devotees will go back to their workaday life, everybody will get busy with other things. My appeal to everyone is that every day, please in your own home, chant one chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One chapter means at least 25 shlokas. Some chapters are bigger, like this one, almost 77 odd shlokas. So you can divide it into 2 days. But please chant every chapter. If you can't chant, play the audio, let the sound of Sanskrit go inside your ears. By listening to it, it will get into your memory. And read the meaning. Chanting means not just chanting, listening and switching off and walking away. No. Every time the shloka is being chanted, read the meaning. And try to recollect what was that you had learnt about this shloka, how do you apply it in your life. Every day you do that. And if you do this way, probably every 20 days you will be able to repeat this cycle. So in a month, at least one full Bhagavad Gita Parayanam you will be able to do easily. In 12 months from now, you would have done this Bhagavad Gita Parayanam individually for 12 times. And that is good enough. I think by the end of this 12 months period, Bhagavad Gita's message would have gone into every cell and every nerve of your body. And that is what is my aim. Let this become a part of us. He says, Gyatum Drishtum Tatvena Pravishtum. Gyatum, only Gyatum has happened as of now. We just got to know what is the content of Bhagavad Gita. Drishtum, we have not seen it like the amla in the hands, as they say. We haven't seen it as a practical reality in our life. We are yet to see that. Let us practice that through this. And Pravishtu, one day this knowledge will become one with us. Mamai Vaishyasi Satyam Te. That is what will happen, that we have reached that divinity that we already are, but unfortunately clouded by our wrong understanding that we are different from that. So, till then, last words of Bhagavad Gita, I will say once more. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosmive. You have to remember this and never forget, this is the shloka you practice. Fill your thoughts with Bhagwan's thoughts, heart with Bhagwan's love, hands with Bhagwan's work, and surrender your ego. Mam namaskuru, namaha, not me, it's you alone. Only an instrument can be like that. So be a perfect instrument who is available, able, noble and very stable. And finally, you will reach that truth with these words of blessings. I'll conclude. We have a beautiful presentation by the students of our girls' campuses who are going to do a dance ballet on Bhagavad Gita and its teachings today. So I'll come back after a short break to watch that program. Till then, I bless you that you attain the highest. I bless you that you never forget what your responsibility, your dharma is as devotees, students, staff, followers, and people of this organization and beyond. And may you all attain that highest truth and wisdom, so that each one of you become not just Arjuna, but Krishna himself in another form, and train the way the world is today. Transform every human being into divine being. Until we divinize the entire world, our work does not end. But the Bhagavad Gita Shivara ends now. Okay.
Sairam, we will now have a break for 30 minutes, after which we shall reconvene for the cultural program.